Hello, everyone. We're back for another five things. It's been a long time, and if we were going to do a musical cue, this would be the time. Been a while. It's been a while.
No,
What are you talking about? They got all kinds of musical cues in
yeah,
this movie
yeah, but
show.
good musical cues, Michael. Not stained. Don't.
No, I gotta disagree. There are some musical cues in here.
There, there are some that are odd, but I mean, not as odd as it would be if like, oh, oh no, the apocalypse here comes again, and it's been a while. Son, when the from the beginning of the first season to the end of the second season is a grand total of 14 days. Hasn't been a while. It hasn't been a while since the last time we did the apocalypse.
We're gonna talk a lot of spoilers.
Yeah.
Basically, we're gonna tell you if you're on the fence or you just finished season one and you want to know if you should binge season two immediately, we're going to tell you five things about what you need to know before you start watching.
We're gonna go through every episode and tell you exactly what happened.
Point by point.
I hope you have 10 hours because we're in it, and this umbrella, it's not coming down. Number one is number five.
Number one is number five. Yeah. His actions sort of create the catalyst for the apocalypse in the first season. And they also sort of create the catalyst for the start of season two as well. He's not responsible for it, but his actions lead up to it. He's kind of a butthead, but he's right. In this season, he's kind of even more of a butthead, but this time he's not really right at all.
No.
And I like that because, you know, as a teenager, you should know this too, JD, is when we were right as teenagers, we were buttheads.
Yeah, major buttage on our heads.
But this time he's wrong. Well, not entirely wrong. He's just doing what he thinks is best, and it turns out no. He's just a fart. He's just farting and pooping everywhere.
Yes, that's what happens the whole time. I think it's because he's a child and he's acting next to, like, you know, people who are in their 30s, and he is. It's weird because you forget that he's a kid too, and so it's fun to see that. I mean, he's like a 60-something-year-old man in a kid's body, but it's fun, and it makes those moments even better because it's like, dude, you're supposed to be older than all of them, and you're still a butthead. So, which means it's not just him being a kid butthead; he's just a butthead in general.
Aidan Gallagher is really good in his role. He makes you believe that he's the butthead that he is. I'm sure he's a nice kid in real life, but
he sells it. Like that's, I mean, like you watching him, you're like, this kid thinks he's in charge and he thinks he knows what's going on, and he just really, because for some of the season you're like, yeah, he is right, and then later you're like, nah, yeah, he's dumb.
He's a big dummy, big butthead dummy. It's like that's what we like to call him. VANYA, if you've seen season one, if you haven't seen it, why are you watching this video? This is about season two. VANYA caused the apocalypse in season one, and this season they go back to the 60s. And, you know, VANYA is always chasing love in all the wrong places. I think that's the best way to sum up her character. And with VANYA, it's like she is confused who she is, not only because she has amnesia in this season, but also she never truly was herself ever. And so it's a troubling thing, and I like where they went with her. They gave her like this little family to interact with that's entirely different from the Umbrella Academy.
And so I even like the way that she gets to interact more with the family. That she, you know, it's clear that like they all now look out for her. They don't really see her as a burden. They see her more as someone they should protect. And then she gets that way by the end with HARLAN, where she's like, I gotta make sure this kid, like I've got to do the same thing they've done for me for this kid. And to have that kind of parallel between her not being able to really talk and share her voice in the, you know, when she was younger, and him not being able to communicate at all, that was really neat. It was just like, it was really cool. And to kind of being able to stop what it gives her like a do-over. Like, okay, I might have started the apocalypse, but I'm going to make sure this kid doesn't do it, which is nice.
Yeah, it's good to see like the growth of the characters because they all learn from their mistakes in season one. It seems like in season one, they were just all constantly making the wrong decisions. And in this season, it's them learning from those bad mistakes and applying them correctly, making good choices this season.
Yeah.
My two favorite characters of the show are Klaus and Beth.
They're the best. My only complaint really is Ben, yes, is in it more, but I mean, he still was not in it much,
Yeah.
and that kind of bums me out. But what he does get to do is so awesome. Like and it's not even like that big. It's just, I don't know. It's that relationship between the two of them.
Klaus as a cult leader is just the most perfect thing possible.
Yeah,
It's hard to talk about Ben because we would spoil a lot of what happens with Ben.
yeah.
And I don't want to spoil everything, but in season 3, there's going to be season 3. We all know this. I hope that Ben has a bigger role, and I hope that he gets to do some great acting, because what we see from him this season especially is some really, really good acting, both comedic and drama-wise.
You can tell that they spend a lot of time together because when Klaus is possessed by Ben, like it's almost like watching a whole other person.
Yeah.
Because like he really did take the time to be like, okay, I'm gonna be like this guy, like my friend, brother. But it's
Allison is basically has joined the civil rights movement, and what a perfect, like, it just seems like all these movies are coming out at, like, the Five Bloods and now Allison's story and this, they're just coming out at the right moment,
yeah,
talking about how to be anti-racist. And it's just like everything she's doing in the show is so, like, pivotal. It's like, what if someone had superpowers and they're part of the civil rights movement? I know X-Men kind of sort of does that, but they whitewash a lot of it with a bunch of white
yeah.
actors and white characters. But this is like, what if Allison, like, it brings up all these, what if Allison uses her powers to rumor and fix but that, obviously we know that wouldn't fix the problem. That would just be
Yeah.
delaying it. Her constant struggle is trying to do the good thing, but also trying to do good by her family as well.
Yeah, and just that, like, is it really a good use? Like her powers almost can never be used for good because you're still forcing someone to do something. It's like
Yeah.
there's no plus side to it, and I think she really holds out for a while not using them because she knows it's like if I use these, I'm still forcing someone to do something, and that's never a good
Yeah.
idea, or that's never nice. And so Luther, I feel like also, I wish more would have been done with him, but he's more of just there, he's
Yeah.
kind of like, I'm here, and look, I'm kind of helping out.
I think this season was a great step back for him because he no longer wants to be the leader. He no longer wants to make the mistakes that he made in the first season, like locking up Vanya. He doesn't
Yeah.
want to do the same bad, dumb stuff again. And so I really like where he is, but yeah, I like him more comedic than I do him being serious.
Oh, he is like, it's like thinking about it now, like he is great. In the first one, when we set him up, it's like, yeah, this dude is your action hero. He's your Captain America, and he is not at all that,
Nope.
which is a lot of fun. He did have some great moments. He doesn't really he barely gets to maybe stand up against his dad, which, but I'm sure like in the third season, they all kind of take a crack at him.
Diego gets a love interest, but he's also still stupid. Lila. I'm not going to explain anything about Lila because it would ruin it if you've not watched it. Their relationship is very much cat and mouse, but also at the same time it's Batwoman or Batman and Catwoman. It's very much a similar, but it's flipped on its head because Diego's the dumb one, Lila's the smart one. And with Batman and Catwoman, neither of them are dumb. They're both playing each other. This one, Diego's just out of the loop. It's like, hey, let me pitch this to you. What if it's Batman, but he's just stupid?
What if it's Batman and he's like, I've got to save JFK? And they're like, whoa, but dude, if you save JFK, everything that happens, like, isn't going to happen. And it's all going to maybe be different and worse. It's like, don't care.
And so that bleeds over to his relationship with his dad. And, the first season, it was mostly everyone's relationship with dad. But it seems like this season, it was more like Diego never respecting his father and vice versa. Reginald never respecting Diego and vis-a-vis the rest of the family. Knowing what we know about Reginald now, it totally makes sense why he doesn't know how to handle human children.
I will say I don't think I was a huge fan of Diego in the first season, because he is that, like, I'm like the Batman. I'm gonna save the day, and I'm like, I don't need anybody. And then, but to see him transform is odd. Like, just he is probably my favorite character in this one, and he has a moment that is so sad, and it just like breaks your heart when they're at the dinner table, and he starts stuttering because he had that issue when he was a kid, and it's just like it breaks your heart.
I'm excited for season 3. I think season 2 was way better than season 1, and season 1 was good. So it's like they're getting to loss levels. They're getting to loss levels where they're gonna start disappointing us.
And that's like when I remember watching the first one, and there was a moment like where in the middle where it kind of gets like with some of the VANYA stuff and a few things, like it just kind of, there's parts where I'm like, okay, like let's push through this, like, but this one, I mean, it was just like as soon as we were done, I wanted to watch another one.
I hope you're excited. You out there in the video, out in the video screen,
out in the World Wide Web.
Are you gonna close it?
This up?
Yeah.
Man, this umbrella's old. I'm not. That wasn't a bit. I really couldn't close it.